Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Daisy from Made with Love by Daisy. In the previous video in this series, I was talking to you about the basic parts of the machine and all the needle positions and the carriage lever positions and all those details and the other accessories. So today I will be showing you the basic cast on. So for this I will be using this 4-ply cotton. This is one of my failed experiments. If you guys follow my yarn dyeing journey, I'm called the Yarn Elf on YouTube and on Instagram. You can catch me there. So yeah, here's the carriage. This part of the carriage is called the yarn feeder. So what I'm gonna do is, you want to place the yarn behind the machine like this. And here is the tail. So the yarn comes from behind the machine to the front and I have the tail hanging below. So you want to insert the thread in like that. Let me show it to you in a different position so that it's clearer. So this is the locked position and this is the unlocked position. So insert the yarn and I'm going to make a little loop on this side on the tail end and I'm going to hang it onto the hook that I showed you earlier. And once your yarn is in place, make sure you lock the feeder. So all my needles are in non-working position, which is why they do not knit. So I'm just gonna push forward every alternate needle. Make sure your yarn is flowing freely. So my needles are in, every alternate needle is in E position. And my carriage is not on hold, which means my needle should knit these stitches when the carriage passes through. So do this really gently. You don't want to fight with the machine. It should move across really easily like that. So now I'm going to take my cast on comb. So this is my cast on comb. And I'm going to hang it over here like this. So that every single loop is on the comb. The comb should catch every single loop. This is a little difficult for me because normally I'll just be standing in front of my machine, but now I have my tripod and my phone and all of that is right in the middle, so it's very hard for me to see what I'm doing, so sorry for that. So make sure the needle that is going into the carriage is not under the comb, it should be above the comb. And very, very important, you need to hang these weights. So I like to hang them exactly at the two ends. So right where the two last working needles are. So hang the weight. It's very important that you hang the weights because if you do not hang the weights, the yarn will jump off the needles. So now that the basic cast on is done, I'm going to push the remaining needles in front. The very first row might be a little difficult to knit for the machine. So just make sure all the latches are open. I just passed my transfer tool to check all my latches are open. So that will help the machine to catch the yarn more better. And I'm going to go down on my tension because I think I'm on a 10 over here. I'm going to go down to 7 because I feel that would be better for this yarn. So move the carriage across. You want to be very, very gentle. Just pass it across. So we've just knit one row. So this is the basic cast on, also known as the comb cast on. Once you finish this, you can just keep going back and forth how many ever needle rows you want, however long you want your piece to be. Do experiment with the tensions for different yarns. If you're using a new yarn, just make sure that you are always starting with a lower gauge, because it's okay if the stitches are loose. You can always make it tighter, because if the stitches are too tight, there's a possibility that the carriage will get stuck. So while you're still learning how to knit the machine, you want to be very, very gentle. Never force the carriage across, because if you force the carriage across, there's a big chance that the possibility of the needles breaking is very high. So just keep going across like that till you're happy with the length of your piece. Wow, I love how this colorway is knitting. So this is the basic cast on. So since we're just beginning the series, I will be going through the basics, because in order to start your start working on projects, you will need to know how to do different types of cast ons and how to troubleshoot in case you've dropped a loop. So we'll be going through all those details before we start doing an actual project. Once you learn how to use your machine properly, you'll just have to keep moving back and forth. Mine is a very basic model. I do not have punch card and all those complicated things. But even in the basic model, there are many lovely patterns that you can make. So and one more thing I wanted to tell you about is make sure you use good quality yarn. You don't want to use cheap yarn. The reason for that is if the yarn splits very easily, it will definitely get stuck in your carriage. So I'm going to let this piece remain here. That's it for today's video. So this is the first cast on method and my most favorite and most used method. We will also be using this method if we want to use the waste cast on method. The waste yarn casting method is used for many projects, especially in projects where you need to hang the hem. So I'll be showing that to you in one of the later projects. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next video.